everyone. I am Tanya, and today in this session it's going to be very interesting because we are going to discuss all the tips and tricks in order to score maximum marks in your NEET examination, especially in the biology subject. All right, I hope you all are ready. And before we begin the session, I would like to tell you that do share the link with your other friends as well, and let's score the maximum marks for this particular examination. Okay, so I hope that all of you are ready for this amazing strategizing session. Along with that, if you're liking the session, do like the session and do subscribe the channel as well. And if you have any kind of doubt or any questions, keep them coming in the live chat. All right, I'll be definitely reading all your chats and I'll try to answer as many, as many questions, as many queries as I can. All right, so let's begin. First of all, when we talk about NEET examination, we all know that here we always focus on the NCERT, right? We know that there are actually many other books as well where we have the PYQs, all the previous year question papers are there. Then there are additional concepts and everything else is there. But we know that when we talk about the base of the NEET examination, it's always the NCERT book, right? So try to cover the NCERT concepts as many times as you can. It's really important that, by the time your examination is coming, you should have finished NCERT at least 5 times. And by finishing NCERT, I do not mean that you just have to read it out. No. You will be knowing that every time you try to read the NCERT book, every time you are going to find something new and that you have missed in the previous time. All right, because when we talk about NCERT and, when we see the book, it's not like that there are topic-wise things or pointers are not there. It's usually in the descriptive format, or you can say that, it's always in the paragraphs. So it's always important that whenever you are reading or whenever you are revising the concepts from NCERT, you have to take all the paragraphs from there and you have to very carefully read each and every sentence from that NCERT. And then when you're making notes from that particular book, try to always make the notes in pointer wise. Okay, so when you're making the pointers, like for example, let me just give you an example over here. Suppose we are talking about the cell. Okay, so when you write the cell here, only you can write that we divide the cell as eukaryotic and prokaryotic. Okay, this is just an example. So when we talk about NCERT, in the NCERT they won't give you the flowcharts as it is. Okay, there will always be huge paragraphs where it's slightly difficult to remember each and everything. So whenever you are reading the NCERT, you have to make sure that what kind of notes do you want from that NCERT. So when you make pointers, okay, it actually becomes pretty easier for you, right? And also, do not have the NCERT which is like 5 years or 6 years back, okay? Have the latest version of NCERT so that whenever you're preparing for the exam, so whatever year is it, like suppose now if we talk about that, if you're preparing for 2025, try to have the latest version of NCERT so that all the syllabus, we can say the revised syllabus is actually included in that book. Because there are certain chapters, there are certain topics which are basically dropped in the revised syllabus. For example, when we talk about this particular thing, in this particular session, so we know that from the NCERT now, in zoology, frog, it's included, right? And if I talk about certain diseases, so dengue, okay, then chikungunya, and tobacco abuse. These are the topics which are now included in the NCERT, right? So whenever I am talking about the revised syllabus over here, so it's really important that you have the latest version of the NCERT so that whatever syllabus is being included or whatever the topics are there which are being included, you should always have those, right? So that is also one more thing. And why did I say that at least 5 times you should be, finishing the NCERT? Because first time when you're going through the NCERT, of course, you will try to cover the syllabus, right? Second time, probably it's going to be about the revision. third time, when you are actually reading each and every line of the NCERT, there will be a lot of things that you will, notice, and then you have to start highlighting as well. Okay. For example, the years, like there is an RCH program that we study in the chapter reproductive health. Okay, so in the chapter reproductive health, we study about a RCH program. So in which year that RCH program is being launched? So these small things are there, right? Or if I talk about that, what is the urine composition? So the composition of urine. So there are like small things which you will actually try to recognize in every time you're going to read the NCERT. So first and second time when you're going to finish the NCERT, it will purely be concept based, or you will actually try to cover the syllabus. But when I talk about the third, fourth, and the fifth time, so from the third time, you have to make sure that you're highlighting the points that you didn't think was, important previously. But then when you actually read it out, because now you're done with the syllabus, you know what are the chapters, what are the important topics in those particular chapters. You also know that what are the new added topics, what are the dropped topics. So you know all about that. But in the third time, what exactly happens is that from the third time, when you're studying or when you're reading sentence by sentence, you are going to figure out that, this is something which I actually missed the last time. And you won't actually realize it, because you might be thinking that, okay, I have read NCERT quite a lot of times. But no, NCERT is actually the base of the examination. From the first page till the end page, you should know each and every sentence of it, right? Because we know that whatever PYQs we solve, and whatever other examinations specified books are we considering, but most of the questions are going to come from any line of the NCERT, right? So try to highlight each and every important point in the NCERT. Try to recognize all the diagrams, whatever are there, and the labelings of the diagrams. There might be certain diagrams which do not have complete labeling in the NCERT, but in other books you might find that it's a proper descriptive version, right? But you have to focus on each and every labeling. You have to focus on each and every table, each and every composition, also the flowcharts, right? In the NCERT, even after the chapter, when we have the summary points, okay, those summary points are also really important, because when the NCERT summarizes the topics, there are certain times that in the summary as well, they might add something new, right? It's not necessary that that particular sentence would be given in the chapter. But when we talk about the summary, and when they are summarizing the particular chapter, they might add something new which will be, really helpful for you, because they might pick up the question from there, right? So consider the NCERT as Bible for NEET, right? You always have to make sure that you are completing and you are properly, gaining each and everything. So in the third time, you start highlighting. In the fourth time, you should actually know that this was the point which I highlighted. And every time you go through the NCERT, you are going to find something or the other new, right? And then before the examination, when it will be, the fifth time when you're going through the NCERT, you should feel like I know each and every page of this particular book. Okay, I have just given you one number, that is like 5 times you'll have to, memorize, or you can say you have to go through the NCERT. If it's more, it's always good. All right. So that is the first and the most important thing, that you always have to read and revise NCERT completely, and that to multiple times. Never think that, okay, I have finished all the chapters from this particular book, so now I do not need to, read it again and again. Let me go through other books. It's actually good if you're going through other books, other competitive examination, focused books. Okay, you're solving questions. Of course, questions are really important, but side by side, it's always important to consider the NCERT as your base. And you always have to make sure that if one word also it's mentioned in NCERT, it's always important, right? So that was my first trick and first important tip for you all, that you always have to make sure that you are going through NCERT and considering it as the base of your examination, right? Moving ahead, now, here in this particular session, we are specifically talking about biology, right? So, doesn't matter whether it's zoology or even botany. the most important thing over here is to make notes. Never think that you have a particular book, so everything is written in that book, and I'll just carry the book everywhere and I'll try to read the book everywhere. No. Doesn't matter whatever books are you considering. Doesn't matter whatever courses you are taking, whatever videos or sessions you are watching. Everything is good, but until and unless you prepare the notes by yourself, it is not going to help you at all. So preparing the notes, especially for biology, it's going to be very, very helpful, because when we talk about biology, I've heard, most of the people say that, okay, it's a theoretical subject. Most of the times we just have to mug up, or we have to just cram it out and, go in the examination. No. Biology is one subject where you actually have to understand each and everything. I mean, just think about it. We are talking about human physiology, okay? You are studying each and everything what happens in your body. Or when I talk about botany, you are studying the anatomy of or morphology of a particular plant, algae, fungi. So, these are the things which you can actually see happening, right? So how can this thing be like a proper theoretical subject where you just have to mug up and you think you are going to mug up and you're going in the examination and everything will be sorted? No, it's not going to happen like that. You literally need to understand each and everything in this particular subject, right? So, for example, let's take a circulatory system. In the circulatory system, you are actually learning that how your body functions. If you're standing here, if I'm standing here, if I'm talking to you, how the body fluids are circulating in my body, each and everything you really need to understand. Now, one more thing comes here, that why is it important to make notes? Because when you're studying biology, your imagination has to be really, really strong. Because if I'm telling you that double circulation takes place in the heart, right? If you look at the heart, it's actually a 3D structure. But if I'm telling you on the board like this, consider this is a box and we have 4 chambers over here, right? Towards the right, always right, left. Towards the left, always right, the right. Okay? We know that this is the left atrium, this is the right atrium. Here we have the ventricles. So, here we know that we are talking about a 3D structure, which is our heart, correct? But what happens is that when you are trying to put up the notes or when you're trying to make a diagram, right? That means you have to imagine it certain way. So it cannot really happen when you just mug up or, you'll just learn the theoretical terms and, the sentences and you'll just go. It's not going to happen like that. It's really, really important to make notes, and notes that will make you understand. It's not necessary that, if one person is making a specific type of a note, then the same pattern can be yours. Okay? Yes, somebody is asking me that is the practical biology necessary to read? I mean, of course it is necessary to read, because even now in this particular, revised syllabus, there are a lot of things that where the practicals are being involved, like in the chapter locomotion and movement. When you would study about the locomotion and movement, there the practicals are being involved, where we study about, the skeletal structure, which is further divided into axial and appendicular. So yes, the practical book is also really important to read, right? But when I talk about the NCERT chapters as well, so here what happens is that here, as I was giving you an example of the heart, okay, it is an imaginary structure. You will have to imagine that yes, we have 2 atriums, we have 2 ventricles. From here the oxygenated blood goes, from here the deoxygenated blood goes. So it will not happen until and unless you make notes for yourself, right? So notes are really, really important. Also, whenever you are making notes, try to, make it beautifully. By beautifully, I don't really mean that, you have to like decorate the notes and stuff like that. No, it should be neat and it should be clean. So when you open your notebook, it should not look like, it's a cluttered thing over here. And also, if you're using different colors of the pen for preparing notes, is always easier. Let's take example of heart only. So we know that when we are talking about deoxygenated blood, right? So here in heart, what happens? We have oxygenated blood, we have deoxygenated blood. We just have to make sure that both the blood, it should not get mixed, and in certain way the double circulation takes place. Correct? That is the thing. Now, you know that the deoxygenated blood from here, from the body tissues. Suppose these are your tissues. From here, the deoxygenated blood goes into the right atrium. From here, it goes to right ventricle. Then from here, it will go to lungs, right? You know that the deoxygenated blood, if you're making it with a blue pen, so it's very easy for you to understand why, because when we talk about veins, most of the veins except the pulmonary one, it carries deoxygenated blood, and veins are always blue in color. So this becomes easier. Now, when we talk about the oxygenated blood, so oxygenated blood, most of the arteries carry oxygenated blood except the pulmonary one. From here, after the oxygenation, you can make the deoxygenated blood from red color, and from here it will be distributed. So just within this box, you know, all your confusion can be really sorted, because you have used here different colors of the pen, right? So it's easier for you to understand that, okay, if it's blue over here, that means I am talking about the deoxygenated blood, right? That is going from the tissues, and then it is going to get, the oxygenation process is going to take place in the lungs, and from lungs the oxygenated blood is coming. Now I know that I have used red color for the oxygenated blood. So as soon as you see the red color pen over there, you will clearly understand that, okay, now here we are talking about the oxygenated blood. By this, so just this small picture, you know, will make things clear in your mind about the double circulation, which is actually considered one of the complicated topics, because usually, you know, people get confused that from where the deoxygenated blood is coming, from where the oxygenated blood is coming, and you know how the mixing is not happening. So it's all up to you. If you make the notes clear, you're using different colors of pen, you are, you know, not making it cluttered, and you are keeping it neat and clean, it is going to help you a lot. And whenever you make notes by yourself, that means you are making notes in such a way that you will understand it. You know that how you write the headings, how you are making pointers of that particular topic, and then you are actually elaborating it with the diagram by using different colors of the pen. This is my personal experience. What I have seen is when you make good notes, you actually feel like opening that notebook and studying from it. Okay? Just consider it as a room. If you're staying in your room and it's always messy, it's always cluttered, you know, your pillow is here, your towel is here, you know, you will not feel like entering in that room. Exact same thing happens with the notebook. If you are keeping your notebook neat and clean, you're not making it cluttered, you're preparing proper notes, you will always feel like opening the notebook and actually starting from it, right? It's a very generalized thing, but we usually listen to this thing, no, that girls, the handwriting of the girls are like really nice, they keep everything very systematic and stuff like that. Boys are always cluttered and, you know, stuff like that. But it shouldn't be a generalized thing, because when it comes to a student is never a boy or a girl. A student is a student, okay? And you have to make sure that things are working in your favor, and things they have to be like clean, neat, so that it helps you only. It's not about, you know, decorating it or doing something. No, you don't have to decorate it. You just have to make sure that everything is neat and clean. Also, you are using these things not to decorate. You are using these things like, for example, colored pens. You are using the colored pens in order to make things simpler for you, not just for decorating or for showing that, okay, this is not going to work that way, right? Okay, we have another question that, ma'am, do we have to solve previous year's question paper? Of course you need to solve, because it's really, really important. Because once you know that, okay, fine, here, these are my notes, and I have completed my notes. I know all my concepts. I know the syllabus, everything I know. But until and unless you practice the question papers, that's not going to help you, right? So once you're done with the NCERT, as I said, that, you know, you'll have to go through the NCERT multiple times. You'll have to make notes from the NCERT by, elaborating with the help of the diagrams and certain different colors of pens, because in biology, there are different things which are involved in one particular topic. Just now we saw about the double circulation of heart, right? So it's always important that once you're done with this and once you're confident enough, one topic is done, try to solve questions of the previous year questions, or like different numericals which are actually given from that particular topic. So it's really important, but that will be done once you are super confident about your chapters, about your concepts, and about your particular theory, right? So that was an important thing about how to make notes along with the diagram, and of course with the flowchart. Flowcharts are like really, really important. Why? It makes your notes simpler, and it also helps you memorize things. Of course, I mean, we are not saying that in biology you have to mug up everything, but in every subject you will have to remember a lot of things. It's not about mugging up or cramming up. It's about remembering a lot of things. For example, if we take the chapter reproductive health, okay? So let me just rub it out. Okay, so when we take the chapter reproductive health, in that we are studying about different methods of birth control. Okay, there are different methods of birth control in the chapter reproductive health, and there are a lot of questions which come from that chapter, that they will give you 4 different options of certain birth control methods, and they will ask you that which is the type of oral contraceptive here, right? So flowcharts make your thing really simpler. Okay, for example, if I'm writing birth control, okay, and you can make a flowchart from here only. Suppose you have written oral contraceptives here. Okay, then you can write natural methods over here. Then you can write barrier methods here. And then you can write surgical methods here. I mean, of course, in that particular chapter, you will have to study each and every method, pretty much in detail. But once you have actually done that, you can, put a flowchart and you can write examples of each method, that under oral contraceptive, how many examples are mentioned in the NCERT, you can write it over here. Under the natural methods, whatever examples are given in the book, you can write it down over here. Under the barrier methods here, under the surgical methods over here, right? So when the time of revision comes, you don't actually have to go through each and everything. If you have the flowchart, because you have already read about it, right? You have already prepared the particular topic. You have already prepared the particular chapter. All you have to do is go and see this flowchart, and you will just, it will take like hardly a minute to revise the thing. Now, if you didn't have the flowchart, it will take you more than 5 minutes to revise all the topics like that. But if you have the flowchart, it actually saves a lot of time. Also, it's a very natural thing that whenever you see something, the image actually, it always stays in your head. So the image of the flowchart, and that too, if you have made the flowchart by yourself, that is why it's important to prepare your own notes. So when you're making your own notes, and if you have prepared the flowchart by yourself, that flowchart, the image of that flowchart will actually stay in your head, and that is how it actually becomes pretty easy for you to revise. It saves a lot of time, and also it's a very effective and a very smart method to, learn and memorize things over that way. Okay, so what do we learn from here? You have to make notes by yourself. Always include diagrams, flowcharts in your notes, and use different color of pens whenever it's required. Okay, and whenever it's needed, you should always try to use different colors of the pen, so that, as I said, the picturization is really important. If you're preparing something on your own, and if there are different colors of the pen, so that image will always stay in your head. So whenever you're solving the examination, you will have that image in your head. Okay, so it actually becomes very, very easy for you to solve the paper as well. Okay, now here the most important thing. Yes, we are reading the NCERT. Yes, we are preparing notes. We are understanding everything. But this is the basic thing for each and every examination, that you literally need to understand the syllabus and also the marks distribution of the exam. That, of course, you know the syllabus, you will have to keep updated. Keep yourself updated that, okay, these are the topics which are dropped now. Like, for example, we know that digestion and absorption is not a part, right? So we know that digestion and absorption, now it's not a part of the syllabus. It's been dropped. Okay, There are certain topics such as reflex action, reflex arc, okay, then vision of eye. These are the topics which are already being dropped, okay. Now there are certain topics which are also included in the examination, such as just now we were studying about it, frog, right? Other than that, dengue, we had chikungunya, we also had tobacco abuse. Okay, so these are the topics which are now included. So you really need to keep yourself updated about the syllabus, that what are the topics that I really need to focus on, and unnecessarily the topics which are already being dropped, I do not have to focus on those topics, right? Other than that, to understand that how the marks is being distributed in the examination, like for that, of course, you will have to first of all study each and everything. I'm not saying that, okay, this chapter, suppose for example, biotechnology and its applications, it's, considered one of the important chapters, because like for a few last years now, if I consider, so a lot of questions are coming from that chapter and it has high weightage. That doesn't mean that, okay, we have to just focus on this particular chapter and other chapters we are not going to focus that much. No, that never happens. Because it's NEET, it's not some, random examination that, okay, let me just read out the important topics and, I'll be passed in the examination. No, we can't do that here. When we talk about NEET, it's really important to consider each and every chapter, really, really, important. So here, but if you understand the marks distribution thing, that you know that, okay, these are the following chapters which has a high weightage as compared to other chapters which has comparatively low weightage. So you know that how you need to manage your time now. Suppose if you have 5 months remaining, you know that most of the time you have to give to the chapters which has a high weightage, and then the chapters that comparatively has a low weightage, you can, easily, go with that. So that is the understanding you really need over here. Other than that, not wasting your time on the topics which are, not a part of the syllabus anymore, but also preparing and focusing on the topics which have been included just now. Because if they have actually included a topic, so of course there will be more focus on those topics, right? And if from a particular chapter, like these are the topics, that's not a chapter, but these are the topics which are being removed from a chapter, it means that that chapter, the other topics which are already remaining in that chapter will automatically have a high weightage now. Okay, so that is how you understand. So it's really important to understand the syllabus and how the marks will be distributed, just so that you can manage and you can distribute your time according to those chapters and topics, right? According to their weightage in the examination. Okay. So that was about understanding the syllabus and marks distribution of the exam. Okay. Next up is the most critical thing that, we all actually deal with, and it is the time management. Okay. Before I move on to time management, we have another question that, ma'am, NCERT is sufficient or we should consider other books as well? All right. So it's, it's a very subjective question. Now, if I say that, suppose you're preparing a dish. So the base, the major ingredient of that dish is NCERT. Whatever other ingredients you use, it is just going to enhance that particular dish. Okay. For example, if you're preparing a cake, okay. So the dough that you're going to prepare for that cake, that is NCERT for you, because it is the base of that cake. Okay. Other ingredients, that how you are going to decorate the cake, those are the other books. So if you, of course, you can consider other books, and of course you should, but only when your base is completely prepared. Because if you have the base completely prepared, and then you are considering other books, for the additional information or for solving previous year's questions, right? So that will only enhance the cake. But the dough is the NCERT, the base is the NCERT. So always make sure that you are super confident about the NCERT, and then of course we can consider other books, and like previous year question papers are of course very, very important, because practice session is like really important. Once you're done with the syllabus, you really need to practice, because that's how you understand that how the questions are going to come in examination. In the examination, nobody is going to ask you that, okay, fine, now draw the structure of the heart or tell me how the double circulation works. No, they will ask a question from that particular topic. You'll have 4 different options, and then you have to identify that how the things work, right? Other than that, other than the syllabus, there are things which definitely, it kind of affects the preparation and also the examination factor, and one of them, the most important one, is time management. Time management is not something that takes place on the day of the examination, but it is something that you have to, build up throughout the preparation journey, because it is one of the most important aspect of your own discipline. If you are able to manage your time, you have to focus not just biology. Of course, you have other subjects to focus as well. You have physics, chemistry, zoology, botany, everything is there, right? You need to manage your time so that you are able to give that time to each and every subject, okay? Other than that, how you are managing the time over here in your preparation journey, it's going to affect that how will you be able to manage the time on the day of your examination. Because this is a very generic statement that we hear every now and then, that, you know what, I knew the answer, but I didn't have the time to attempt the questions. And that should be the last thing, okay? If you know the answer, if you have worked so hard on the syllabus, if you have worked so hard throughout your preparation journey, then at least time management should not be the thing that is stopping you from cracking the examination, right? So it is very difficult to hear that I knew the answers, and just because I did not have time, I couldn't attempt the question. So that should definitely not be the thing, okay? So time management, actually, it's a thing of your discipline, that you really need to manage your time throughout the preparation journey. That what time do you wake up, how many hours of study are you giving to yourself, and in those many hours, how are you dividing the hours, like how many hours are you giving to one particular subject. So all of that comes under time management, right? And you know that you will have this much time in your examination. You'll have to go through the whole paper once, and then you have to decide that which are the questions that you are going to attempt first. Of course, you need to attempt the questions which you're pretty sure about, and then you come to the second round where you'll have to think a little bit, or maybe solve a little bit. You're not that confident about that particular question. So that is how all of the things comes under time management, okay? And if you are under pressure, if you get stressed easily, the time management thing will actually affect you more, because if you're stressed, or if you are like really scared before the paper, so most of the time you won't be able to focus completely, because you will be having a clock going on in your head that, okay, time is running out, and I really need to focus. I really need to attempt all the questions and stuff like that. So everything is just coming under the time management, okay? So it's really important to be disciplined, because if you're not disciplined, then the time management thing is not going to help you like that, okay? So it's really important to manage your time throughout the preparation journey, not just like that, okay, fine, let me take a paper, let me sit, let me try to solve it. If I'm able to solve it in 30 minutes, then I'm pretty sure that on the day of the examination, I'll be sorted with this. No. Throughout the preparation journey, you really need to manage your time like that, okay? So yes, very, very important to manage your time. All right then. So that was all about the tips and tricks that we had for today's session. So what else do you need to know? Please let me know. And if you have liked the session, it's really important that you share it with other friends as well, so that if we get any new suggestions, of course, we'll also include that. And these were the things that from our past experiences, all of us together have brought you this thing, that NCERT, super, super important. It's the base, it's the dough for your cake, okay? So do not forget that. NCERT is really important. Make notes along with the diagrams, flowcharts, use color pens, make your notes beautiful so that you feel like reading it, okay? Do not make it a mess. Do not clutter it out, okay? Do not do that at all. Other than that, to manage your time, really, really important, all right? And try not to be pressurized. Don't try to, take that pressure, but enjoy the journey, enjoy the subject, and study it out. Because when it comes to biology, of course, dude, preparing for NEET. So you have to enjoy the subject, because in the upcoming years, you are going to study it in that way only, right? So you have to enjoy the subject, and that is why when you will start enjoying the subject, you will prepare notes accordingly, and you will actually prepare for the exam like you want to, not because you have to, but you want to. Okay, so if you like the session, please do let us know. And this is our channel. Don't forget to like, share, and comment, and also subscribe. Please share it with other friends of yours, and do let us know that what all other videos and what all other contents or the tricks that you want us to make, and we'll definitely bring it for you, right? Other than that, here is the Telegram channel. So do join the Telegram channel as well. Here you will get all the detailed notes, and you will get all the updates of what all sessions are going to come, and each and everything you're going to get it here, right? So thank you so much for today's session. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. And let us know on the comment section that what else do you want us to bring it to you, so that it's helpful for you, because we are here just to help you out, whether it's for the examination or for the preparation journey. Thank you.